I'm honored and thrilled to be able to present at this wonderful conference. I only wish I could have been there with you in person. My name is Beate Sjåfjell, and I'm a law professor at the University of Oslo and the coordinator of the SMART project that I will now present to you in a nutshell. The SMART project, Sustainable Market Actors for Responsible Trade, is funded by the European Union under its framework program Horizon 2020, under the program Europe as a Global Actor, Greater Policy Coherence for Development. The SMART approach to policy coherence for development is to say, firstly, that development must be sustainable development, so it must be policy coherence for sustainable development, and that we must include the market actors, both private, public, and hybrid, in our research. So a comprehensive research into the regulatory complexity of the market actors is required here. And sustainability in supply chains is an especially important topic as it connects everything in SMART. The research we do on the regulatory complexity of the market actors, of businesses, of investors, consumers, and the public sector in its many roles as a market actor, all of this is connected, has as its connecting point the global value chains, the supply chains of products that are sold in Europe, but where the products have a global value chain that often begins in and also ends up back again in the poorest countries of the world, the countries that the EU calls the least developed countries. But what about the sustainability part? What do we mean with sustainability in SMART? Well, the global consensus on achieving sustainability and the sustainable UN Sustainable Development Goals has, together with the Paris Agreement that also was adopted in 2015, has given a new impetus to this debate. Everybody is talking about how to implement the SDGs, as we abbreviate them for short. Both states and municipalities, businesses, investors, academics, everybody talks about the Sustainable Development Goals. But if we look at this list of goals that we have here, it doesn't actually have any coherent framework. And there are internal inconsistencies in this list of goals. So in SMART, we therefore turn to the natural science concept of planetary boundaries as our framework. Planetary boundaries is a framework that was first presented by Professor Johan Rockström and his long list of co-authors from the Stockholm Resilience Center. And it was the result of a unique collaborative efforts between natural science scholars from different disciplines from around the world that met in Stockholm and tried to find out how can we identify and present those non-negotiable ecological limits that we need to stay within if we are going to achieve a safe operating space for humanity. It was first presented in the groundbreaking article by Rockström and his co-authors in 2009, and one of Rockström's co-authors updated this and revised it with his long list of co-authors in 2015. So Will Steffen was the lead author for the second article. And this framework is very important to us in SMART for three reasons. First of all, it illustrates that it's not just about climate change. We can actually, at least theoretically, manage to resolve the challenge of climate change, but we may still then destroy the safe operating space of humanity, the very basis for humanity. And it also illustrates that these are non-negotiable ecological limits that we have to stay within. These planetary boundaries don't care about what's politically realistic to achieve consensus on, or what it is realistic to ask businesses or investors to do. The planetary boundaries only care about what is done and what is not done. It doesn't care about fancy and colorful goals either. So therefore, we are of the opinion that we have to have this as our framework. And the third thing it illustrates is that in spite of all the sustainability talk, we are still on a very certain path towards a very uncertain future. Because in the 2015 article, the conclusion was that we are currently transgressing 4 out of the hitherto identified planetary boundaries. And that is not even the grand challenge of our time. The grand challenge of our time, as is illustrated here by an image from Kate Raworth's book, is how to secure the social foundation for people now and in the future while staying within the planetary boundaries. That is the challenge that SMART responds to, and where the research on global value chains, on sustainability in supply chains is crucial. It doesn't matter to the planetary boundaries if environmental impacts are externalized from Europe to Ghana or from Sweden to Poland. The planetary boundaries are just as much transgressed. And we are not fulfilling the aim of securing the social foundation of people everywhere now and in the future if the welfare of people in the richer parts of the world is based on exploitation on people in other countries or regions. Therefore, we take this framework, this double framework in SMART, and that also means that our approach to the Sustainable Development Goals is based on this sorting of them that Stockholm Resilience Centre has done. So we take a different conceptual approach to the SDGs, as is illustrated here, where we see the economy as something that must function in a way that it contributes to society. And society must function in a way that it enables us to secure the social foundation for everybody within the planetary boundaries. And fittingly, Goal 17 is right at the top of this pyramid, because Goal 17 is partnership, and we need to collaborate in new ways if we are going to be able to meet the grand challenge of our time. Within this framework, SMART recognizes that everything is connected to everything else, and our research on the market actors reflect this. We understand that the regulation of businesses impacts on what investors do, and what investors do impacts on business and on the business-consumer relationship. And we also understand and analyze the relationship between these private-public hybrid market actors and the purely public ones, such as the public procurer and the public sector as majority shareholder and as an institutional investor through pension funds. And we are doing a comprehensive systemic analysis of this whole regulatory complexity on the international level, the EU level, and on the level of select member states to understand what is it that prevents market actors from taking sustainability-oriented decisions. What are the best practices that could be stimulated? What are the barriers that need to be removed? And what are the gaps and incoherencies that we need to deal with? And in addition to this comprehensive regulatory analysis, we are also doing on-the-ground work on specific products, such as that of mobiles, which is central to the event that you now are at. To be able to do all this work, the SMART Consortium consists of 25 partners internationally, and we have approximately 70 scholars at the different partner institutions, and we're also supported by international networks, the Sustainable Market Actors Network especially. So there are many possibilities for collaborating with us also through those. I wish you all the best with the conference, and I hope that your discussions will be fruitful and productive. We at SMART in Oslo look very much forward to hearing the outcome of this event and to staying in touch with you. Thank you very much.